Here on Motorhead Garage, we always say, if it goes, we love it. Well, I love this Jeep. It's lifted, looks great, does well on and off-road, and we've got this Jeep and a whole lot more coming up next on Motorhead Garage.
Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Motorhead Garage is presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Welcome to another edition of Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now, if you're like me, you love a great 4x4, and I tell you what, these are a couple great 4x4s. They're brought to us from our friends here at Primal 4x4 and Fab. Blake, tell me what you guys do down there in Charlotte.
We do it all, man, from mild to wild, suspensions, lift, wheels, tires, bumpers, you name it.
So if I buy a stock Jeep and I want to go off-roading, how does the process begin? What do I need to do with Primal?
It's pretty simple. You give us a call. We run through, what your final goal is, what are you going to do with the vehicle, and what your budget is, and we work within those means to best suit what you want to do.
As for the equipment you're putting on the Jeeps, what level are we talking about?
We aim to do high-end work and use high-end products. We don't like using lower-end stuff that's going to fail later on. So we like to ensure that our products and what we install is going to last, and it's going to take the abuse that these vehicles go through.
You have a lot of people coming in, I understand, that haven't been in this 4x4 world before. So what's your advice to them right off the bat?
Most of the time we start small and just work into something, give them a baseline level to start from, and then we go from there. Or we ask them, do they have a final vision for their vehicle? And we build upon that. So if I know that someone wants to go beat up the trails, then we're going to build towards that. If they just want to cruise to the mall, we can do that.
What are some of the preconceived notions people might come in with when they want to lift their vehicle or make it look like one of these?
A lot of times we get phone calls, it's how much is a lift kit? And it's like, well, that's a loaded question because it's mild to wild. Some lift kits are $600, some are $6,000. It really depends.
What are some of the trickiest things when it comes to installing lift kits like this, and why are you guys the experts?
Some of the tricky stuff is getting your angles right. Most people don't realize how important suspension geometry and steering geometry is. And we like to pride ourselves that we know all about that, and we try and get it right.
How did your passion for four-wheeling and vehicles like this start?
My dad bought his first Jeep when I was a sophomore in high school, and we slowly built that and went on trails, and it progressed from there. And I ended up getting my own Jeep and going out on the trails, and it's what I love to do. So quite literally, I turned a passion into my job.
How do you translate that experience to what you do and what you sell your customers?
Well, I won't sell my customers anything that I wouldn't put on my own Jeep, first off. So we can use our knowledge and our experience to kind of lead our customer into making correct decisions. The worst thing is when someone spends a bunch of money and they're expecting an experience and it ends up being bad, and now they're mad and they want to sell their Jeep, and it ends up poorly. So if we can start them out on the right foot right out the gate, it works out better. Customer satisfaction is number one. I mean, there are plenty of times where I'm working late just to make sure a customer's happy.
I know you always hear the customer's always right, and that's always true, but how many times have you talked somebody out of something they think is going to be a good idea, but with your experience, you know it's not going to work out?
Fairly often, I would say. We get a bunch of guys that want to come in and do some certain things, and it's like, no, it's not a good idea, man. You should probably go this route.
And you know all that by trial and error, basically?
Most of the time, So we build all these rigs ourselves, and we go and test them ourselves, and it's trial and error. If I know something didn't work on my rig and this guy wants to go down the same route, then I can lead him away from that and be like, hey, personal experience, you don't want to do that.
We talked about the quality parts you put on your vehicles. What if something should go wrong? How long is it guaranteed?
Oh, we guarantee our workmanship 100%. We cover everything we do 12,000 miles. We guarantee that we install it correctly. And each of the products have their own manufacturer warranties. Some of these products are lifetime abuse-proof warranted. Other stuff have 2-year manufacturer defects warranties. It depends. These
are a couple really cool looking Jeeps. This one is your personal Jeep. Yeah. Tell me some of the things you've done to it and things that really stand out.
Yeah, this is a 2012 JKU Rubicon. We named it Harambe after the gorilla that was shot in Cincinnati. So I've done a rock crawler 4.5-inch long arm kit. It's re-geared front and back. I got true bead locks, 40-inch tires, hydraulic assist steering, all the goodies.
Why should I bring my vehicle to you to get it lifted and to make it into a 4x4 off-road vehicle?
We're one of the best around, man. That's what we do. So we literally turned our passion into our job, and we focus everything into what we do. I eat, sleep, and breathe Jeeps.
Well, you can bet you're going to get a quality product from these guys, so be sure to look them up at Primal4x4 and Fab.com. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings right after this.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radios since 1977. And by NH Oil Undercoating, the official oil-based rust prevention system.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now, we're super fortunate to have access to this giant studio at Borla's headquarters in Tennessee, and there's only one group that fills it up whenever they come to our studio. That's Mobile Environmental Solutions. Here's a look back at one of their best with our buddy Brian Loans.
I am here inside the shop, but even more specifically than that, inside a Mobile Environmental Solutions paint booth, joined by this, an absolutely magnificent big block 4-speed Corvette. We'll talk more about that in a second. But Tom, tell me about what makes the Mobile Environmental Solutions paint booth so effective, and what am I standing in?
This is our 23x15. It's made here in the United States. The best part about it is when you're not using it, you roll it up and put it in the corner. Only takes a few minutes to set it back up. Then you have a fully functional paint booth. This one right here has approximately 37 air changes an hour.
So this is not just a, it's not just a structure. I can feel the circulation happening right now. Now, this is also a paint booth that is good for doing small pieces. You can do doors. We've seen fenders done in here. But the reality is, you did this entire Corvette in one of these booths.
Yeah, I painted the whole car in it. In pieces, like, you know, the body on a dolly, doors on a stand, but yeah, the whole car in here.
And this is no slack job kind of work here. This is an NCRS quality level restoration. Kind of tell me what you enjoyed about working in the booth.
Well, what I like about it best is, like, I'm a small garage, you know, I'm a home hobbyist, restorer. I only have 1,000 square foot, so for like me, I roll it out, blow it up, put the car in there, use it. When I'm done, I put it down, put it back in my garage, and it saves space. And it works, you know.
And you're overly humble because you're very, very good at what you do. And, you know, you're a guy that's got certifications by the major paint manufacturers.
Yeah.
So you understand what needs to happen inside one of these booths, and clearly it works the right way.
Yeah, I've worked for a lot of dealerships and restoration shops, and this booth puts out just as better just than anything else. It works great.
Tom, is there any better testimonial than that? Or
I think the proof is in the pudding on this one. I mean, this is a gorgeous car that was painted in a bounce house.
That's what my neighbors call it, the bounce house, yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about the car, because it's a very rare Corvette, meaning we got the engine combination in the driveline, but specifically inside. Yeah,
this car belongs to a really good friend of mine, Rob Harper in Apex, North Carolina. It's a radial delete, heat delete car with 411 gears and a 427 4.25 horse numbers matching, all numbers matching car.
Unbelievable. And it's a car that is capable of being judged on a national level, that 100-point scale that everyone's so afraid of. What does it say to you when you hear testimonials like this from a guy that's doing this level of work in the booth?
It takes a lot of pride. It just shows that the amount of work that goes into design of these booths. It isn't just sewing it. We have checked the airflow. We've upped the game as far as having a true cross-flow style booth. And it opens up a lot of opportunities for people that can't afford a permanent booth or don't have the space for a permanent booth, or people that work, from their backyard or from lot to lot. So there's a lot of different applications.
And there are some safety features built in here as well. You have emergency exits on the side. There's also the ability for filtration too, right?
To swap the filtration out, the vinyl's all fire-treated, fire-retardant vinyl. It does exceed the OSHA's airflow capture efficiency as far as air exchange rate. So there's been a lot of tests and R&D been done in these booths.
And one last question, size-wise, you said this is one of the larger offerings. What do you offer for size?
This is our 23x15. We build them as small as a 10x10 and as big as a 50-plus, 19x20 if you need it for semis, Apache helicopters. The military use them for different specs like that.
Tom, we talked about stuff. We see the vents up here, and I can actually feel really significant airflow through here.
And you got 12 in this booth, and that's your inlet filters. So it's giving you a true clean room environment. It's moving a ton of air, and it's cleaning the air as it comes through and fills up the booth. because it's positive pressure. It's going to fill up the booth like a balloon and exhaust through the path of least resistance, which is going to be the exhaust filters on the opposite side of the booth.
Different paints have different needs, and you know, I'm sure that waterborne paints like a booth like this.
Water would work really great in here. Even my PPG rep said this is the place for water. Because of the air circulation, water's not about heat, it's about airflow. So yeah, and I'm going to spray water in it soon.
Where do people learn more about these on the web?
MobileEnvironmentalSolutions.com.
So there you have it, MobileEnvironmentalSolutions.com, the place to visit on the internet to find out how you can own one of these booths. The quality of work you can produce in here rivals anything you can do in a standard issue booth at a fixed location inside your shop. Way more convenient, way easy to use.
Do not go away, because we'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings right after this.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
This is Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, and as you can see, our crew is on break. So while they're doing that, we're going to take a look back to our sister show, Performance TV, where Joe Costello has a little bit more on mobile environmental solutions.
Now, we know all the hot rodders and car guys and girls out there love flexibility, the opportunity to move around. And Tom is back from Mobile Environmental Solutions. They've got exactly that for us, a little flexibility. Now, we know the big booth, we usually see it. These are smaller.
Exactly. Normally we bring in our 23 by 15 to do the show. That's the most popular size, something you can put a short bed crew cab truck in, or almost any size car. Today we brought our 10 by 10 and then our 12 by 12.
They are both functioning paint booths.
Absolutely.
Moving air, so you can be in there, whether you be painting something large in your large booth. This is maybe something a little smaller, engine blocks, maybe just a part, a piece, a fender. It'll work for you.
Absolutely. Like for an example, the 10 by 10 here has 72 air exchanges an hour. I mean, it's moving a ton of air through there.
Wow. But that word flexibility comes up again because not everybody is painting. Sometimes you need just a clean space, and all of a sudden this affords that opportunity. A clean space, maybe in a dirty shop.
Exactly. Can you imagine being a small-time custom shop, an engine builder, somebody that kind of crosses over, but you don't want to turn around and build a big expensive engine, and you turn around when you're doing welding and all your other mechanical and fab work. You can turn around, set this up, takes less than 5 minutes, assemble your engine, and then when you're done and you got everything cleaned up, pull your engine out, drop the booth up, put it in a corner, and it's no larger than a large duffel bag.
Wow, very cool. And roll your parts carts in there, seal yourself in. Now, everything that is going on around you, whether it be sparks, whether it be dust, you could even be outside, and you have got a clean room.
Absolutely. And it filters all the air that comes inside it.
Wow, that is spectacular. Now, it looks like it'd be very easy to move around, and that's part of the point.
That's the neat thing about it, is it plugs into a standard 110, and it folds up, and you just turn around and roll it up into a bag.
Wow, now who are some of the people that are choosing the smaller option? Most people want to upsize. This is downsizing. Who's doing it?
We got guys that are doing alloy wheel repair, guys that are just doing parts. Guys, we have a customer that builds snowmobile parts. He fabs snowmobile parts. He uses one of these. We've got airbrush studios that's using them. We've got, your do-it-yourselfers, your crafts. People that don't want to trash the rest of their shop or their garage and still have a clean room to be able to paint and have a show quality paint job coming out.
Now, I can imagine this fitting perfectly in like one of those large steel buildings. And instead of building a clean room and going through all the expense, time, effort, permits, just buy one of these, you've got your clean room.
Set up, plug it in, and you're ready to go to work in less than 10 minutes.
Most importantly, when you're done with it, you can put it away.
And that's a sweet secret sauce of the whole booth. You turn around, you fold them up, you put them up, and you can store it in your corner. That way, that 300 or 400 square feet that this booth ties up when it's set up, you got it back to generate other income or use it for something else.
Now, transporting it, I'm stuck on that because I think it's so cool. This looks like it might fit in a checked bag on a plane.
That's all it is, just a big folded up bag that comes in. It's got handles to strap it down, and it's nothing but a big sleeping bag. That's how much space it takes.
Think about that. You jump on a plane, you go visit your buddy, you build an engine, you head home, and you're doing it in an environment that is clean. And anybody that builds engines knows that is vital.
Absolutely. Nobody wants to turn around and explain why an engine just blew up because they built it in a dirty environment.
Isn't that the truth? I certainly don't want that here on Performance TV. Now, 10 by 10, 12 by 12, what are some of the differences other than size? Like, why would you choose the slightly larger one?
It depends on what you're painting. Like the manufacturing companies or the companies that are using a pallet jack, they like to go with the 12x12 because they can put 2 pallets in there side by side. Somebody with the 10x10, that's going to be a little bit tighter area that doesn't need to put 2 pallets in there side by side.
Well, it's definitely very cool, and I love the idea of building an engine and all the various ideas, and I'm sure your customers have gotten very creative with how they're going to want to use it. It's not just automotive industry as well, though. I know you've told us in the past that the people who are purchasing these booths range all facets of automotive, military, aerospace.
We've got the military using them to paint Apache helicopters in. We've got window tinters using them to do bulletproof window tinting in. We've got ceramic coatings using them as clean rooms to apply their ceramic coatings. I mean, the uses are just unlimited.
I think that I like the engine shop, though. The mobile engine shop sounds good to a drag racer like me. And then you can always use it as a paint booth as well. Seems like there's no one use for any one of these booths.
Absolutely.
Well, I got to tell you, I love it. I want me one, and eventually I think I'm going to have to do it. Mobile Environmental Solutions have got it figured out. You're going to build an engine, you want to be clean, this is the place.
We are cruising right along, and we're sure glad you came along for the ride here on Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. We'll see you right after this.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. Anderson Design and Fabrication, designing and manufacturing Subaru lift kits and off-road accessories. Vibrant Performance, the source for professional fabrication components. And by Clamp Tight, the clamp making tool.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now, you've surely seen our sister show, Performance TV. Well, here's one of their greatest hits and host Joe Costello.
Now, you know I love technology. It makes things better and more efficient. Maybe in no better example than the torque converter. Marty Chance is in the house. Marty, we got some converters, we got some race cars and hot rods. What are we learning about this week?
Our bolt-together converters have taken over heads-up drag racing, and in a modern race car, it's all about tunability. Our torque converters don't just have a few stators. The stators are almost infinitely variable. For example, for a converter like this, we'll build a stator from 20 degrees to 50 degrees in every 2.5 degree increments. And not only that, but the blade counts. Like, you could have as many as 20 blades, as few as 7 blades. We also build them in X and A factors, which are stators that have a slightly higher torque multiplication. There's also an R factor. That's something we've never talked about publicly. It's a technology we designed probably more than a decade ago. Basically what it is, it's a technology that allows us to advance or retard the stator like you would advance or retard a camshaft, which is to say we can make the stator stay in a torque multiplying mode longer or come out sooner.
So you're speaking another language to a lot of people out there, but there are a lot of people that understand exactly what you're saying. Bottom line is we're talking about winning races and getting the most out of the parts and pieces you've already paid for to go racing with. This adjustability is the difference between winning and losing.
Right, absolutely. A modern race car has to have the ability to tune for a track condition or any situation that may come up. And this torque converter is the most tunable converter ever conceived.
Now, you have been doing this for many years, but we are seeing like champions and race winners, whether it be on outlawed tracks or national event tracks, they're using your converters.
Yeah, that's true. We've set records and won championships all over the world. And this converter, the bolt-together converter, we brought this to the industry almost 35 years ago. So we've been doing this a long time. The technology in-house is just phenomenal.
Let's talk about some of the customer service that you offer, because people are like, okay, I want to win races, but where is my spot with Neil Chance Racing Converters? If they have something unique that they want to do, maybe a combination that they need put together unique for their combination, how do you handle that?
When a customer has his Neil Chance converter out, he runs it, the best thing we can do for him is to link up through the internet with them, take a look at their data. So they'll have their data log on their computer, we'll link screens to the internet, we'll be able to read that data and then show them how to advance their program.
And depends, 5,000 horsepower Pro Mods, 1,500 horsepower showdown cars, or just a really powerful street car, you've got something for them.
Absolutely. The technology we developed in the racing world to win all these championships, we did the same thing with the street performance car, because today's modern street rod is nothing to have 700, 1,000, 1,200 horsepower in a street-driven car that runs on pump gas. And that same technology, we developed a converter that's very user-friendly, very inexpensive. A converter like this starts at like $1,000 bucks.
And a lot of people think, like, oh my goodness, Neil Chance Racing converters, that's just for pro mod cars, and that's not the case.
Not the case. The popular hot rodding scene today has, whether it's a boosted LS or any other type of hot rod with a big block Chevy or a Ford or whatever, if it's got an overdrive transmission with a lockup converter, say the 4-speed and 6-speed overdrive lockups, that's the kind of street rod performance converters we're talking about, one just like this one.
Performance and drivability, which I think is everybody's goal with a powerful street car.
Right, absolutely. In fact, we even have a lot of people that'll ask us, you know, well, I've put a supercharger on my car, I've put a turbocharger on my car, why do I need a converter? Well, that factory converter was designed for the factory power curve of a stock motor. So when you boost it and you make a lot more power, you throw nitrous on it or whatever, you've changed the power curve, the converter needs to be adjusted for that.
Good point. You can spend all that money on a supercharger. Go the extra mile. Performance, adjustability, drivability, and maybe even a race win. If you are looking for that, hit their website. Marty's got it going on.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. We enjoyed the ride. Hope you did too. We're going to do it again next week, so be sure to join us here at the same time. In the meantime, if you have something you want to see featured on our show, email Jeff at masterstv.com. From our entire crew, we'll see you next time here from Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. See ya.